It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra Code. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extra Code has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extra Code.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AmpPace.
AmpPace.
We are on the heels of a historic night in the NBA and in Dallas Mavericks fandom. The Mavs won the lottery last night, and the Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics, and nobody else to get you set up for the NBA draft coming up here in June than Slovacics. You got to go there. You got to get your kolaches. You got to get whatever you can get, and get right. You can also get fan apparel there. And if you want to have a draft party, kolaches is your spot. And if you're driving on 35, going from Austin to Dallas or Dallas to Austin or Waco to either of those places, well, Waco to Dallas, actually, stop at Slovacics and say what's up to Ray. Also, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Socorro Family Ford, and Crawford Austin Properties. The Mavs property and the Dumont family, who owns the Mavs now, the property got a little better yesterday. And I can tell you, I want to just kind of walk you through my experience. So I was wrapping up on the Cameron Park Trail, where, by the way, I saw Scotty and his beautiful daughter last week. We'll hear from Scotty in a little bit. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. He is ready to go. So I was finishing up on the trail, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get back and home in time for the lottery to really take it in and absorb it. I'm just going to go to that Mamica Bowls place and get a bowl. Scotty and I actually already dropped by there to get a sponsorship out of them, but we're such good people. We don't roll around the mud.
They won't email me back.
Yeah, they won't. Maybe I'll pay another visit over there because, honestly, great bowls. Make sure you pack your patience, all right? It's about 30 minutes before you get served yesterday, which was perfect, actually, because it really solidified that I was going to be there for the entire NBA draft lottery. So the lottery starts, and ESPN does a great job like getting it on the air, and you can feel the excitement and the hype, even me watching with my AirPods on and on my phone. It actually set up perfectly. The table had like ridges so I could set my phone up, and it was like a real good setting for this. So I'm watching. A women's basketball player from Baylor rolls by. Her name escapes me, but it's Nikki Collins' birthday today. Happy birthday, Coach Nikki Collins. And I'm sitting there, beautiful night, and the funniest part of the draft lottery, if you watched it, was when ESPN interviewed Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, they did this thing where they show all the representatives from each team. And Hakeem's interview, they do Hakeem, and it almost seemed like I don't know, it was like a little clumsy. So Hakeem is on the air, and he talks a little bit about why the Rockets could use more help, but just, how the team's on the up and up, and another piece could really help the Rockets. We saw them this year, obviously, losing to the Warriors in the first round, but a very good team on the come up. So we hear from Hakeem, and then the whole deal starts. And as we get to, Scotty and I had talked about it in the morning. I was more focused as somebody from Philadelphia on the 76ers and what opportunity they would have to get the number one pick. And if they would lose their pick, because if it went below 6, it was going to go to Oklahoma City. In all the excitement around the draft, and I think Kevin Agandi's a Philly guy, and so he was hyper-focused on the Sixers, and he didn't make a mistake per se, but when two teams leapfrogged the Sixers, he was like, okay, well, that means the Sixers are going to lose their pick, because conceivably you couldn't imagine the mathematics of that working out. But it just so happened that 5 seconds later, he was like, correction, the Sixers are now in the top 4, which I think was like a roller coaster in itself. So then you realize the Sixers are in the top 4, and then it becomes clear that the Mavs are going to be in the top 4. And then we go to commercial break with the Sixers, the Mavs, the Spurs, and Charlotte, right, are going to have a chance in the top 4. So we come back from break. Charlotte is 4th, of course, right? And then you come to find out that the Sixers are 3rd, and then they reveal the Spurs with the 2nd pick, which means the Mavs get the number 1 pick. Now, immediately, I'm actually someone who I'm a benefit of the doubt guy. Maybe it's how I was raised. I always joke around and say born on third base, thought I hit a triple. I had a good childhood coming up. My parents were sweet to me. There was some drama in the house, but you get it. I had pretty good vibes as a kid, and thanks to my parents. I don't look for the darkness right away. Most people on social media do. So I was like, wow, I can't believe Nico got this lucky. And I was very happy for Mavs fans to sort of shift their perspective onto, okay, maybe we have a winner again. But right away you go to Twitter, and I started to hear from friends of mine just about how much of a conspiracy this was, right? And I'm like, okay. So, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, what is the conspiracy? Well, I figured it out quickly. I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going to say that the Mavs traded Luka to the biggest market in the NBA, LA, and in return, the NBA was like, hey, we'll give you the number 1 pick in the draft lottery. Also behind that is, why would Nico keep his job if on his own accord, right? This, if anything, if on Nico's own accord he made that trade, I think most organizations, after seeing the backlash from the fan base and just the toxicity around the organization, probably would have let him go by the end of the year, but they did not. To me, that's an indication that the Dumont family was like, we're not going to give Luka the Supermax. You got to trade him. You're going to be the bad guy. You're going to be the one put out there. Soldier on. You'll keep your job. We'll take care of you. I think that's the reason Nico's still employed. I don't think the reason he's still employed is because the NBA was like, yeah, Luka or Nico, don't worry. You're going to keep your job. We're going to keep you employed, and you're going to get the number 1 pick. Who's Cooper Flagg, by the way. So like a game changer, okay? An absolute game changer. Now, I went into the history books a little bit yesterday because I love this stuff. I love the draft. This is up there with the biggest, doesn't pass the smell test conspiracy theory-wise of all time. First of all, the Mavs had a 1.8% chance of getting the number 1 pick. 1.8, okay? Last year it was the same deal. A team with like 2%, or I think the Hawks jumped into the top. Right, they got the second pick, with 1.8. So the biggest one, and we opened the show talking about it yesterday, Patrick Ewing, the Knicks winning the 85 draft lottery. That's the biggest conspiracy one. That was 40 years ago last night. Quite the anniversary, but we talked about it. There was a frozen envelope, allegedly, that David Stern knew to pick last, right? That was the Knicks envelope. 2011, following the decision and the chaos and the dismay in Cleveland where they're burning LeBron jerseys, the Cavs organization is literally spiraling out of control. They get the number 1 pick, right? A long shot. They get Kyrie, right? That follows LeBron leaving. So then 2019 was another big one. Zion goes to New Orleans. Now, he goes to New Orleans after AD got traded to LA. Okay, Scotty, what do you got? Scotty seems like he's ready to jump in here.
Tap me in. Listen, I wanted to bring up this tweet. This is from my friend Trey. Trey's a Baylor fan. We've swapped notes about Baylor as well as barbecue. And he put this tweet up, and I am just presenting evidence. I am not making a claim.
Yeah.
All right? Here's what Trey said on Twitter. What are the odds of this happening in the NBA draft? The Cavs won the lotto immediately after LeBron left. The Pelicans won the lotto immediately after the CP3 trade. The Pelicans won the lotto again immediately after the AD trade. The Mavs win it immediately after the Luka trade. Grok says the odds of that are 1 in 244,446. What a coincidence. So you were already listing those years. I just wanted to put that up. That my friend Trey.
Trey's on it. I mean,
Trey says that is odd.
It's talk about an epic long shot, right? Talk really. And then so also another one, I don't know if Trey had that. 2015. The Cavs get the number 1 pick after they get LeBron back. So it's like the Cavs need another piece for LeBron to win a championship, for him to be rewarded for coming back to Cleveland.
Good point.
And win a title. That number 1 pick was Andrew Wiggins, and then it turned into Kevin Love. Okay, obviously a huge piece. And then you look at LeBron staying home in the 2003 lottery. That's another one where it's like, okay, this looks like a potential conspiracy. It's fun. I love to follow it. I love conspiracy theories in themselves. It's malarkey. Don't believe it. It's complete BS. This is not a conspiracy. This is a draft lottery. It's a lottery, okay? And I know this. Like every major conspiracy that is out there in society, if it is a conspiracy, just be patient. At some point, we will find out. People will start talking. And that's the key to the 1985 one with Patrick Ewing and the Knicks. We would know by now. Somebody else would talk, dude. I'm sorry. Someone else would talk. There's more people involved. Like when you get a secret going between 3 people, odds are one of those people, if they're not murdered, right, like mob style, is going to let go of that secret at some point in time, especially when it could behoove them financially. And letting one of these secrets go could lead to a payday for whoever wanted to be the quote-unquote whistleblower. So I don't believe in the conspiracies. I think that's complete horse you-know-what. And I'll say this, too. I hate to flip it, but I think you got to give props to Adam Silver in the NBA, and here's why. In 2019, they totally retooled the way that the NBA draft lottery was going to go down, which not prohibited, but I guess it would inhibit the chances for the worst team in the league to get the number one pick, which meant that they were saying, hey, and you can thank my 76ers for doing this, but the tanking had become so toxic within the NBA that Adam Silver was like, we've got to eliminate this. And by the way, they haven't eliminated it because everybody's still tanking. But the results are in, and tanking is far from a sure thing. Over the last 7 years, the worst team in the NBA has not gotten the number one pick. So clearly, whatever you're doing now to tank, you're not getting rewarded. And I heard Udonis Haslem say, it was either last night or this morning, talking about the tanking situation. Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And really, that's a little extreme because in certain situations, you have seen tanking work, right? You go back to the Spurs. I mean, like, they basically took a year off. They picked up Tim Duncan in that draft where the Celtics just completely lost out, the Pitino Celtics years. And then they get Duncan and Robinson, right? And then they become a dynasty, really, an underrated dynasty at that, when you think about it. And that's probably because of where they're located. But this is something that is working. As much as people think it's not working and you want to point over there, that's the conspiracy. That's the sexy thing to look at. Really what you need to point at is over there. What Adam Silver has done was actually good for the NBA. And sooner or later, these teams are going to get on board and realize that, like, tanking is no good for you long term, right? Like, I had a chance to talk to the great Corey Dickman yesterday. Now, Corey clearly doesn't get it either because Corey is pissed that Chauncey Billups is still the Trailblazers head coach because Corey was saying, hey, look, Chauncey didn't get the memo, right? Like, the Trailblazers needed to tank. They needed to suck, okay, so they could get the first pick. But what Chauncey did last year was he fought for his job maybe, and he instilled a winning attitude in his team. So as a fan, you sit at home and you say, wow, we're in like no man's land here. We're not getting like a great lottery opportunity. And here we are with a team that's lukewarm. But I believe you're instilling a culture in your organization that can become a platform to success. I am so out on the Philadelphia 76ers now. So out. And I'm telling you, most of my friends are as well. And it's because of the tanking and the toxic vibe around the whole organization. Joel Embiid, I love him. He seems like an amazing dude. He's a loser as far as the NBA is concerned. He's played 50% of his games, okay? And he is the leader of a team that is known for tanking more than they are for winning. Like, that sucks for him and his legacy, but that's just kind of how I see it shake out. And it makes it really hard for him to root for him, especially when, early last year, we remembered there was an in-house meeting with the Sixers, and it was basically like, Joel tried to talk during the team-only meeting, and guys like Tyrese Maxey were like, dude, shut up. You show up late. You don't come to certain events that you're obligated to come to, and now you come in a players-only meeting and you're going to talk to us about what it's like to be a winner? And that in itself, to me, is just a reflection or a fallout from the tanking environment that is like, you sit on ice, you don't have to play at all this year because we want to suck. And then you're going to do it again next year, and then the year after that. But, hey, we need you to flip a switch as a human being and now become a dog. It's just not how it goes, dude. And so what Adam Silver has put together in the NBA will hopefully eliminate that kind of stuff going forward. And I got to say, yesterday, one more thing about the draft and just another thing of a piece of rubbish, I think, was a report yesterday from Shams Charania. Because now the talk is, oh my gosh, NBA executives, according to Brian Windhorst, are now asking the question, is Giannis to Dallas for the number one pick a reality? Right? Okay, that was a question. Scotty, hold on. We're gonna tag you in here in a second. First of all, And again, like no knock on Shams, no knock on any of this. Like Shams is, the guy's like probably the best all time we've already had, or he's probably already one of the best all times with his ability to break stories in the NBA. But that story yesterday was kind of a nothing report. I get it, like it's a piece of information he got that Giannis would be open to being traded or moving teams, but like who isn't at that phase in their career? You know, like he didn't say I want to be traded. He just said, yeah, I'd be open. So basically he's not going to like block it with his body. An opportunity or a trade that would send him somewhere else. Like that's kind of normal, especially in today's NBA, especially in today's NCAA, like where we see people moving all the time. If anything, Giannis has been an outlier for his willingness to stay with a mid-market team for as long as he has. And that's one of the reasons I think we all sort of low-key love Giannis, even if we're not out there with our love. Like everybody respects the shit out of that dude. Fans, people in front offices, and people around the NBA. So I think Giannis to Dallas we're going to hear a lot of that. I think that's all smoke. I don't think that the Mavs, I don't know. It's hard to see them executing that trade at all when their return on investment for the trade that is most recent to us was so bad. Luka for an injured big guy and a bag of potato chips. All right, Scotty, I've gone on long enough about the lottery, but I feel like, to summarize it, it's not a conspiracy. Tanking sucks. This is why we're here.
I agree with your
can
conversation about the conspiracies. And
I don't even know if it was a conversation so much as a
somebody would leak it. Somebody would leak it for money. I agree with that. That's an excellent point. I resonate with how you feel about your 76ers. And I just want to I want to respond to a comment. And I've gotten text this morning to this effect as well. Welcome back, Scotty. I would like to clarify something. Last I checked, Nico Harrison is still in the front office for the Dallas Mavericks. And so I am not back. No way. I'm still out. I told Pete this morning. He's like, Cooper Flag. I'm like, okay, great. That's not my team.
He was one of my first texts.
Okay, great. Cooper Flag. Cool. No.
Are you sure you don't want to reconsider?
Wait. Reconsider what?
Your Mavs fandom right now.
Did Nico Harrison still trade the most generationally talented player the franchise has ever had?
Yes, he did.
For nothing. Yes.
He did.
So, yeah, no, I'm out.
Okay, here's your core next year.
But just
Hold
keep
on.
in mind that two of them might not play more than half the season.
Kyrie Irving.
May not play more than half the
Klay
season.
Thompson.
May not.
Cooper Flag. Anthony Davis.
Wait. I think
Derek
we don't know that
Lively.
Klay's back. In fact, Klay was very cryptic about coming back in his final press conference.
Well, let's be real now. I think everyone should be reassessed after last night, or everyone should reassess their commitment and vocalize that so we know where they stand. Because I guarantee the temperature's changed in a lot of rooms as far as the Mavs are concerned. Props to you for standing firm.
Listen, Cooper Flag's a good player. That I can see why there could be some excitement around that group of players, especially if everybody's healthy. Like, give me a healthy AD, a healthy Kyrie, a healthy Derek Lively. Like, that's intriguing. I get it on the basketball court.
Yeah.
But if Nico Harrison is still in the front office, Cooper Flag's going to be traded in 3 seasons for Rudy Gobert.
That's not
because that's the philosophy of the Dallas Mavericks now, as he's told you and doubled down on 100 times. So
I push back on that. I think Nico has got to be. Look, here's the one thing I can tell you going forward. If you're a Mavs fan, like personnel wise, the worst is behind you. Like whether and Nico Harrison won't be your general manager forever, so you will be welcomed back into the fold here over the next 2 years, 3 years at some point.
I texted one of my buddies that this morning. I said, when Nico's gone, I might come back. But I might not, because Luka's going to win a Finals MVP, and I'm going to be sad.
He will be gone soon. He will be gone soon. And I was thinking about this. Some of the fallout and the backlash on Nico was really bad. And I think that like guys like Windhorse and guys like Tim McMahon, they go so hard in the paint on this because, like being hard on Nico. Because I think that there's so much that they know as like sourced up NBA insiders there's so much they know that they can't even report. That I think it's almost frustrating. You could see it's kind of seeping through last night with Wendy. The woman who played at Stanford, Chike Ogunike, I think, maybe I messed up her first name, but she's real good personality for ESPN. She was on the countdown set last night after they went from the lottery to the Knicks game, so they were in between for like a minute and a half, which was like not enough time for people to react to that, which was funny in itself. But Windhorst was just like, I think Ogunike was like, yeah, maybe Nico's off the hook, or maybe, and Windhorst was like, like no chance.
I'm
like,
with him.
Yeah, and listen, I agree too.
Bottom line is, if you're a player, if you are a good to great player, and you see what Nico did to Luka, again, we've beat this to death. It's not just the trade that was clearly not equal in value on either side. It's also the way then there is a smear campaign about Luka's work ethic or his weight or his diet or his smoking, drinking, whatever. There's then a smear campaign to justify it. If you're a superstar talent, why in the world would you go play for that GM? Because if Luka's expendable, Cooper Flagg's expendable. If Luka's expendable, Klay Thompson and Derek Lively are definitely expendable.
Yeah.
Like, why would you play for that GM if he potentially is going to ship you off for nothing and then smear you? So that's why I'm like,
that's a good point.
Like,
that's a good point.
I don't know. Dallas was already struggling to attract free agents, right? There were so many seasons where it's like, LeBron James to Dallas? Whoa. Or like, oh, this free agent, that free agent. No big splashy free agents have chosen Dallas.
By the way.
Even when Mark Cuban was beloved, Dallas was competing for championships. Dirk was there. Like, Dallas has not been a free agent attraction. Now you've got a GM who will ship you off, like you said, for a bag of potato chips and then talk crap about you. Why would you go play for that franchise?
Well,
there's my rant for the day.
No, that's pretty good. And another thing I will tell you, and I heard Simmons talk about this last night. I was so all in on this. It was such a fun night.
Yeah.
To kind of like, I watched Simmons did a live reaction to the Knicks game in the lottery. We haven't even talked about Jason Tatum getting hurt yet, but and we'll talk about that next block. But it was just, here's what I wanted to say. He noticed it, and I noticed it too. If you watch the coverage, maybe he was nervous, but Cooper didn't seem over the moon about like going to the Mavs. He didn't, but he was probably pretty nervous. You know, that's a huge night.
Because it's a toxic. It's toxic. It's been toxic since they traded Luka. It's toxic in the media. It's toxic in national perception. It's probably toxic in the building.
Yeah, but you got a great coach. Okay,
I agree. I love Jason Kidd too, but Jason Kidd has not looked happy since they traded Luka.
No, but we'll see. Maybe here's the good news, Mavs fans. We're going to find out, because if you remember, I was in Lubbock for a Texas Tech game, and I was with Scotty when, I raised the flag that I said this is just like Major League, that they're trying to tank the season so they can move the team to Vegas. I think at which point I said they will get Billy Gillispie to coach, right? Because that's the kind of guy you could get. He'd be like Lou Brown from Major League, right? But clearly, it looks like that probably might not be the case. Now, if they trade the pick for a bunch of like future picks, right? Like, okay, like maybe there's something here to that. Like maybe they do want to move it to Vegas, but I think we've avoided worst case scenario. Scotty, anything else before break?
No, I went off. I'm done.
All right, we're going to go off just for a brief moment. We're going to come back. We're going to tell you. Well, I want to talk to you about the Knicks and why last night was such a huge night for their organization in more ways than one. I mean, a lot of organizations last night were affected by the draft lottery and the Jason Tatum injury, which seems to be pretty bad. He's having an MIR today. Knicks now up in that series 3-1. We'll come back, talk about that, and also tell you what the biggest ticket is coming up here in a little bit over the next month or two. Stay with us.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Pete Sousa Show. We are back up and running here. Lot of emotions going on around just in this studio. Scotty is like really perplexed. He's emotionally he's a tortured soul right now when it comes to his sports fandom, and it's a shame because all he has to do is admit that he was hasty in abandoning the Mavericks and their team because of one individual and their actions. But hey. It's cool. Like, honestly, I still don't like the Sixers because of all the tanking.
Pete,
but if they got Cooper Flagg, I'm no dummy. I would have jumped back on the bandwagon. Go ahead.
There's a statue.
A statue or a statue?
A statue of the great Dirk Nowitzki that sits at the front of the plaza outside of American Airlines Center. Do you know what that statue says?
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Do you know what it says?
No.
Loyalty never fades away.
It does, really?
You know, it does. You know who defied that year one? Nico Harrison. Screw him. I'm done.
Well, I can tell you the good news about the Mavs sucking this year. I had to meet Mike Leslie to exchange equipment to call a Texas Tech baseball game or softball game, and I had to get the equipment from him at American Airlines Arena like at the end of a Mavs game on a Friday night, and there was nobody there. Like, I was like, wow, if the Mavs were good, it would have been really tough to make this exchange because we would have been making our way through all these people. He was covering the game, and Christy just dropped me off, and I picked it up, and then I met her back out front again. But, yeah, that was like – and I said to him, I said, imagine if the Mavs were good. This could be tough. He said, yeah. So – and by the way, of course, we met at that statue, which is so amazing. And at that arena – I guess it was now 3 years ago or was it 2 years ago? Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark faced off for the NCAA championship. That was an amazing event. That day, I actually tried to scalp tickets. I remember I was outside, and I was down in Dallas for the day, and I said, well, I'll scalp tickets after the game starts, right? I went to lunch, and then I was walking around the arena to see if I could scalp tickets. And I'm usually pretty good with these scalpers. You know, we have a connection. I've worked with them before. We'll just put that lightly in a previous life. So this guy was like $400. Now I was like, it's the second half, dude. I'm not paying $400. And the guy was like, first of all, it's not the second half yet. It was like still 5 minutes left from the first half. And I was like, I'm not paying $400 to get into this game. And I didn't. I watched it, at like one of those big restaurants like that was connected to it. And it was still an amazing vibe in that restaurant, kind of adjacent to what was going on inside the arena, obviously. But, man, the Caitlin Clark thing and the magic around the WNBA has legs for sure. A couple things to talk about. There is a game on June 27th, and it'll be Paige Beckers and her first visit to play Caitlin Clark in Indianapolis, right? The average ticket for that game right now, for a WNBA regular season game, is $450. The courtside seats are going for $1,100 to $1,500. Like, this is very real, what's happening in the WNBA, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. It's because of Paige Beckers. Haley Van Lith now joining Angel Reese in Chicago is only going to fan the flames there of the attention around that team. Now, Angel Reese, I do have a bit of an issue with. Angel Reese is a superstar person, per se. Like, it's very clear that she's got the charisma, that she just has the energy of someone who is a star. And I think that she will sustain that star quality for a very long time. I do not think she is the next Lisa Leslie. I do not think she is the next Cheryl Miller. Guess what? Because she's not, okay? I don't know that she's a diva, Scotty B. I really don't. I think, and I appreciate your comment, and I love you, but I think she's more of a superstar. And she's more of like a Bill Laimbeer almost, right? And I say that for two reasons. One, she's just a total badass, and she impacts her team with her ability to be a badass on the floor. But two, she's more of a complimentary player. Like, you're not going to win a title just with Angel Reese. The team won 32% of their games last year. Chicago did. It'll be really interesting to see how they do with Van Lith this year. But the real show is Caitlin Clark. The real show is Paige Beckers. And why? Because they're fun to watch. Like, again, just like someone like Cheryl Miller was fun to watch, or like Lisa Leslie was fun to watch, or like Sue Bird was fun to watch. Like, but this is a whole nother level. Like, Caitlin Clark brings that Steph Curry vibe to the WNBA that unfortunately is leaving, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, is leaving a player like Angel Reese in the dust. And yesterday, Angel had an opportunity. She just shut this reporter down. And I guess good for her. I don't know what it's like to be Angel Reese. But someone asked her, and I'll read it because if we put it up on YouTube, they'll take it down. But here was the question. It was at a press conference yesterday. Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. And the reporter went on. A year later, do you feel like, right away, Angel Reese goes, next question. Like, just shuts it down. Because I'm sure she is exhausted with, like, you know, if she says one or two things, it's like Caitlin Clark's, like, beehive, like, comes after her. So I can't even imagine what it's like to walk in her shoes. But, she does have that kind of aura where she, kind of has that vibe of like, I'm the yin to Caitlin Clark's yang. Like, that rivalry has the potential to be amazing, especially now that she has her former LSU teammate that challenged and beat Caitlin Clark in the final, Haley Van Lith. What do you got, Scotty?
Yeah, I think the drama and the pettiness to some extent, I'm not just accusing Angel Reese of that, but
Yeah.
I think it goes around in professional sports, is part of what's going to make this thing click. Like, it's like when we talk about the NBA's elevation, we talk about Bird versus Magic. Like, that rivalry meant something. I love that these ladies played each other in college. They were all in Final Fours against each other in college. And now they happen to be also the best stars of the WNBA and are going to continue to feud and play against each other and go at each other. I think that dynamic is more fun than just, and I raved with you about Caitlin Clark last week.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's multiple rivalries, the fact that I believe Paige Beckers can go into Dallas and go right up to Caitlin Clark and outscore her in a game, that is what's going to keep elevating the WNBA to be more interesting than just, hey, the women's version of Steph Curry is Caitlin Clark and she's really good, you should watch her.
Yeah.
It's also like, no, you got to watch her go at Paige Beckers. And you got to watch, like you said, how these college teammates who won a national championship go back at Caitlin Clark, who's getting all this love. And I think all of that makes it so intriguing.
I agree. And the one thing where I think Angel Reese is a bit of lacking self-awareness is that she's nowhere near as good as Caitlin Clark. Like, nowhere.
Correct.
And if you watch the two of them play, Angel Reese is active and does an amazing job on the offensive glass, and it seems like she's a walking double-double. But she misses a lot of bunnies and stuff. It's not she doesn't it's not something where I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch to see Angel Reese tonight.
but going back to your point to Scotty B, she would not be a great basketball player if she didn't believe she was better than Caitlin Clark.
100%.
The reason she's so freaking fun to watch and she is attractive for viewers and she is a good basketball player is because she's like, no, I'm better than her.
Yeah. That's because she's attractive too. People love Angel Reese.
But even though you and I can watch and go, if I'm starting a basketball team, I'm taking Caitlin Clark 10 out of 10 times.
Yes.
The fact that Angel Reese is like, nah, dude, I'm better. That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
And that's what makes her good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the heat around the WNBA is undeniable right now. There's also some heat around VJ Edgecombe. I had a talk with one of my buddies in Charlotte who used to work at the Hornets with me, who will remain nameless, but somebody who's curious from a basketball perspective what VJ Edgecombe is like as a player. And he reached out to me because he knows, I'm here. I called a bunch of his games this year. And really, I'm not a scout, but by calling a lot of his games, I have access to the people I'm calling the games with who are analysts who know a lot about basketball. I see how these guys move, their body language. I see how Coach Drew interacts with them and talks to them at shoot-arounds. There's a lot for people in Charlotte to get excited about if VJ Edgecombe possibly falls to you at number 4 in the draft. My buddy was like, is he a good kid? I was like, oh my God, he's beyond a good kid from all I could tell, right? I didn't go home with him, but the way that he interacted with his coaching staff, with the media, with his teammates was like, oh, this dude gets it. And then a phenomenal athlete who, and King McClure talked to me about this early in the year, you watch him shoot free throws, he's got a good jumper and he has a smooth jumper. And we saw it at times this year completely catch fire. In January, I think he was 60% from 3. And if he kept that going, he'd probably be a top 2 pick. I think the only knock on him, and we've talked about it here on this show, is that he doesn't take over a game. But Scotty, you feel like Charlotte would be the perfect place for VJ to go because now he's with well.
My first statement to you was I do kind of feel like the Charlotte Hornets are the Cleveland Browns of the NBA, and I would hate for VJ to go there. But then, no, I said they've got some exciting young talent.
Yes.
Where they are not and it's rare for them, they are not drafting out of a need to get an alpha.
Yeah.
They need another young kid who can score.
Yes.
And that's VJ. And what you get with VJ too is a kid who's elite defensively, is going to make plays in transition, can pass well. Like he's a multi-tool player that fits what they have.
Yeah.
And I do think that's where it's a better situation than if a team's like, we've got a bunch of C and B role players that need a star. That's what I would say is, well, VJ has not shown the ability to just take over a game and be an alpha yet. But he doesn't have to be. I mean, they've got Ball and they've got I forget who else is on that team right now, but they've got some
Brandon Miller.
talent. Yeah.
I mean, he's
now. I would rather VJ go to San Antonio at number 2 and play with those cats, but that's not going to happen.
Can you tell me who the head coach is of the Charlotte Hornets?
No.
I mean, honestly, I can now because I saw last night. But when he was representing the Charlotte at the draft, I was like, who's that guy? Charles Lee, the Hornets head coach. I was like,
what's his resume? I don't even know who he is.
I'm sure when he got hired, I looked at it, and I'm sure he's a fine coach, but like I knew nothing about it,
And listen, I would love nothing more if
how obscure that.
If we get to my closing point today, I'm going to tell you about the NBA. I would love nothing more than for Charlotte to be elite in the NBA. I think that would be so fun.
We're coming back. Scotty's going to have his last block all to himself. There was one more thing I think I wanted to talk about.
Well, we still haven't talked about the Celtics-Knicks.
Oh, that's it. So Celtics-Knicks last night. I'm watching the game, and they come out of a timeout. And I was actually on the phone. I had to pause it because I was talking to Christy about something important, I think. But anyways, as this was playing out, this is tough too. You're on the phone with your significant other. You're trying to be dialed in. You want to pay attention, especially when, part of your relationship a lot of the time can be like long distance, right? So you want to be engaged. And it's easy to stay engaged with someone who you love, right? I mean, come on. So it's not like it's work, but when a dramatic sequence of events is playing out in front of you on the television set, it's hard. Knicks come back from a timeout. They're up by like 5, and there's a major play, a steal, and OG at the other end flushes it down, and the Knicks are now up 7 with 3 minutes left. And at the other end of the floor is Jason Tatum writhing in pain, And at the same time, I'm trying to act like Christie's take on whatever it was at the same time was totally compelling. So, and it was compelling. So I paused the game and stuck, I stayed with who brung me to the dance.
You did the right thing.
Which is Christy. And I figured, okay, we'll get off the phone and I'll catch up here to exactly what's happening with Jason Tatum, because it was very clear, at least to me and everybody else who's weighing in on it this morning, people who know far better than me, that this is a serious injury, which sucked. So, so quickly, right? Like, it hit me when I got off the phone and I replayed it and I watched it. I was like, what a seismic night in the NBA. Like, it would appear that Jason Tatum is going to be lost for the remainder of the playoffs. That means it would appear that if the Pacers can hold on, which it looks like they should, and the Knicks can hold on, which now it looks like they should, that the Knicks will have home court advantage in the Eastern Conference playoffs against, oh, by the way, their old school rival. You can dig into the crate and find all the Reggie Miller, Spike Lee stuff against the Pacers in an Eastern Conference Finals. All we'll have to do now is get the Pacers out of those horrendous uniforms and back into some uniforms that look halfway decent. And we can really call it a rivalry again. But also, when you look at the draft lottery, like everything that happened last night for the Utah Jazz, right? For the Washington Wizards, for the Hornets, for those teams who sucked on fire last year to not get a shot at Cooper Flagg, who could completely change the face of their organizations, right? They didn't get that. Now they got to figure it out with VJ Edgecombe, who we just went on record saying we're in love with, but is not the game changer or the agent of change that Cooper Flagg is. And with the Jason Tatum injury, which really is heartbreaking, I think people take it too far. This morning I'm hearing like, oh, how's Joe Mazzulla going to go forward with when they blow up this roster or when the roster changes? Because it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, we could get an MRI coming back this morning that says it was an ankle injury that's may keep him out for the rest of the playoffs, but is not so significant that it'll shelf him for all next year. I think we got to kind of hold out on that conversation, but it is scary and like it does I read the Al Michaels book, and he said you don't want to ever say this put things into perspective because you should always have sports in perspective. But that injury did really kick me in the nuts last night. I was like, oh, God, you just hate to see this happen to a human being who is flourishing right now. Jason Tatum had 42 points. Okay, and him locking horns with Jalen Brunson has been fun. Jalen Brunson on fire, averaging 30 points and 8 assists over the course of those 10 games he's played, the first 10 games, right? And he says, as a leader, right, like Scotty put up right there, nothing to celebrate yet. And that is a guy who, at his height, is able to dominate in the NBA. The top 10 list, he's number 1 now on this list of players averaging assists and points in their first 10 playoff games. It's like an amazing list. And he's really top flight. So the Knicks, just real quick to take care of some business, they're a 4.5-point underdog in Game 6. Or no, that's Game 5, which will be back in Boston. So the Knicks could close it out, but they're underdogs. Tonight, Cleveland, they are 7.5-point favorites in their game at home against Indiana. OKC, 10.5-point favorites in their game at home. That series is 2-2. Of course, the Cleveland-Indiana is 3-1. So the odds makers think that'll go 3-2. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Scotty is going to tell us why the Pacers are getting so screwed around with odds like this and with a lack of respect like this, whether it's from the odds makers, or the fan base. And Scotty's got some more for us, too. So stay with us. The Pete Sousa Show rolls on.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
Pete Sousa Show back, presented by Slovatrics. Make sure you watch the Cam Show today. That's going to be a fireworks display. He texted me last night, Len Bias, Reggie Lewis tonight, as far as a low point for Celtics fandom. So you know what you're going to get with Cam, but you actually don't know, so you got to watch. One more thing from me, personally, my mom got another message from the Pope. He responded to her offering prayers. I mean, it's just amazing. So we're going back and forth with DMs, my mom and the Pope. Scotty, I got a question for you today before we turn the floor over to you. It's Nikki Collins' birthday. What would you get Nikki Collins for her birthday? Oh, Baylor women's basketball head coach.
I didn't have my microphone on.
Yeah.
You didn't give me any time to think about this.
Yeah.
A national championship.
Let's go. Yeah.
That's what I'd get her.
Yeah.
I want that for her, man. I do.
What about Kim Mulkey retiring?
That would be beautiful.
That would be nice too.
She's not retiring. She's not retiring anytime soon.
Nikki doesn't need her hanging around.
I think Kim's going for as many records as she can get. I think she's going to coach till she's old. Man.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Scotty, you've got a couple things that are top of the mind.
Yeah. I went on a rant about this Friday when I was hosting the show, and then I got roasted on YouTube a little bit because my rant was revolving around, I think Tyrese Halliburton needs to be more respected. This guy's been called the most overrated player in the NBA, and he had a game winner that was incredible in Game 2. Pacers were up 2-0, and then he scored 4 points over the weekend in Game 3. But we're sitting here on Tuesday, and the Pacers are up 3-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mind you, I think now we're choosing to have amnesia about how good Cleveland's been this season.
Yes.
Cleveland was like a sexy sleeper pick to win the whole thing, like most of this year. And Cleveland's a good team. Like Donovan Mitchell's one of the best players in the NBA.
It's amazing how quickly we turn on teams.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think we are criminally underrating the Pacers, who I think are the story of this playoff so far. I don't know that.
Hard to argue.
I don't know that anybody was picking the Pacers to go to the Eastern Conference Finals for any reason. And it's not just Halliburton, although he's played well mostly. It's like Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner and all these guys are just undervalued, underappreciated. It's team basketball. And here's what I love about it. I love that it's Indiana.
There's something basketball.
Yes. There's something about that feels so right to me. And I know Indianapolis is not like a tiny market per se, but I sent you this tweet this morning
go ahead.
In regards to some of the conspiracies around Dallas getting the number 1
and the
pick.
geographical bias.
This tweet popped up on my timeline from Brett Coleman, who said, this approach is why the NFL is eating the NBA's lunch. Because every market matters. The face of the league is Kansas City. The draft was in Green Bay, right? And that's a great point. Like, the NBA does a good job. Their small markets do matter, although they did move out of San Diego and NFL. Although they did move out of San Diego and St. Louis, so we don't need to talk about that too much. But what I love is that I did not have a rooting interest in this playoffs, so I thought once the Lakers were eliminated, I think I'm rooting for Indiana. I think this is a franchise that's been so close many times and just hasn't quite crossed, over the bridge. It's Indiana. It's a basketball-rich place. They haven't had a lot to root for. Like, Indiana University's been disappointing.
They got a hell of a coach, too. Rick Carlisle is a great guy.
And again, as a former Mavericks fan, I love Rick Carlisle. I think he's amazing. So, team basketball, it's like everything you love about basketball. Team ball, sum is greater than its parts. Indiana, Midwest, like they are winning with defense. It was like 80-39 at halftime of game 4. They were up on the Cavs.
Well, everybody has this offense where it's like, let's ISO, let's do this 3-point bombs away. It seems like the Pacers are like, we're going to find the open guy. And the open guy's going to score. It's just like that. That's their offense.
And there are nights it's Siakam. There's nights it's Turner. There's nights it's Halliburton. Like, yeah, they are not so star reliant. In fact, a lot of people would say none of those guys are star. Like, who's Halliburton, Siakam? Like, those aren't good enough players to win you a championship. What if they are? I'm very excited.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And if it's with the Celtics and the Tatum injury, we got a whole new ballgame.
We've given so much love to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. They've played well. Brunson's amazing, right? Again, former Mav. I love Jalen Brunson. But if it's Knicks Pacers, which it's looking like it will be, that to me is such a clash of like Midwest, like Indiana basketball against New York, like big city. We've been hyping the Knicks. We need to hype the Pacers, man.
I agree.
And I'm rooting for the Pacers.
I agree. That is like, because that's the truth. Like, this is a team that is has all the tenets of like what we want society to look like almost. You know what I mean? Like
come on.
Like a team oriented, like playing for the guy next to you.
I'm just embarrassed. The most airtime the Pacers have gotten in this postseason is when Tyrese's dad confronted Giannis.
He shouldn't have done that.
Like, shouldn't have done it. Deserved the news stories. But why have we then not talked about that they are dismantling Cleveland?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a great story. I love it.
At some point, you do have to talk about what they're doing right and not what the Cavs are doing wrong, which is what everybody wants to talk about. All right, go ahead. You have one more thing that I love.
I've got one more story, and I wanted to get to this yesterday, but
this is a great way to leave you on this Tuesday. It's like the happy news story at the end.
We were so full on.
That's what we call a kicker in the news
on
business.
Yesterday's show. I want to talk about Travis Hunter. Obviously, we know what he can do on the football field. I've got some footage here of him bringing the wide receiver energy and some of the swag to Jaguars preseason camp. I literally cannot wait to see what this dude does in the NFL. I think it's such a good story. But even more so than that, over the weekend, this story emerged on Facebook, and I had to like break up this Facebook post quite a bit to fit it all on screen. So we're gonna fall off the screen for a second, but I think everyone will appreciate this. Excuse me. This woman said I'll just read it. I had the most wonderful flight home from Denver. I met the nicest young man who sat next to me. He offered to put my bag in the overhead compartment and helped me with my tray. He was always polite, saying yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. Anyone would be so proud to have him as a son or grandson. So polite. People walking by were saying, congratulations, great job, or taking pictures. I turned and asked him, who am I sitting next to? I looked at his Jaguar pants, smiled, and asked, are you an athlete? He smiled and said, yes, I'm Travis. I was drafted by the Jags. I already told my sons I want his jersey. He's so humble and down to earth. I would have never guessed he was a professional athlete. Ma'am, not only that, but a Heisman Trophy winner and the number 2 overall pick, right? Jacksonville Jags, you did good. I will be buying tickets. United Airlines, thank you for my seat assignment.
How awesome.
Dude, this just made me so – because, again, we talk so much in sports about the things going wrong, or we spent so much time talking about what did Shedeur do in the meetings that got him to drop. I'm like, dude, let's talk about what these guys are doing right.
Yes.
That story fired. Because, you know, like, that is where Facebook is actually, like, good for society as opposed to being horrible for society, is, like, that right there.
Absolutely.
You know that is not PR. That's not made up. That is some sweet old lady that
that's a great kid.
That does not watch football, clearly.
Yeah.
That had this wonderful encounter with somebody I think we're all excited to see on the field, and I'm really excited that he is also a class act off the field.
By the way, low key, if you ever find yourself somewhere next to a celebrity that you know who they are, right? You know who they are, but you want to play it low key. That's the best question ever. Who am I sitting next to? Like, it's clear that you're important to all these other people, but I don't know.
Yeah, but see, she legitimately didn't know who he was.
I know. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. I know. That's so cool. And you know, it speaks to what, you know, and to your point, what we don't talk about enough with Dion, like, he does a great job with those kids. Like there are great kids that come out of that program.
Right.
And Travis is one of them. And as far as we know, you know, Shedeur has all the sizzle, but like, I haven't heard one thing about the guy outside of accruing parking tickets.
He's
like
saying all the
crazy.
right things at Browns camp right now, by the way.
But like every kid in college does, is accrue parking tickets. I think that's the only knock I've heard about Shedeur. Like, just a great kid who, does things a little differently.
Here's what you need to learn from Dion and maybe even first grade Scotty Swingler. Being loud doesn't mean you're bad.
And that's a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade Pete Sousa as well.
I'm just being real. Like, being loud or being energetic or confident doesn't make you a bad person. Like, I think Deion Sanders is a good person.
Absolutely.
Like, I think he prioritizes character when he recruits.
Yes.
And so, I mean, we're getting off the point. I wanted to brag on Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
But good story.
Travis Hunter, star on the field, class act in the aisle. Scotty Swingler.
You know it, man.
All right, on the wheels of steel. Scotty, thank you so much today. Of course, Savachix, we so appreciate you. Crawford Austin Properties. I'm about to do a podcast with Gordon from Crawford Austin Properties. You can listen to it. It's called Facing the Mirror here. It's about addiction recovery and all that other good stuff. It's on the Rogue Media Network alongside my Payoff with Pete podcast, Stories of Sobriety. Also, for this show, click and subscribe or like and subscribe, right? Yeah. We got some good content, and we're growing, man. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so that's pretty awesome that we get to do this together with you guys every day. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Go check out the Cam Show. The guy's probably losing his mind today. We'll see you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra Code. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extra Code has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extra Code.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.